Terumot Perek Daled Mishnah Bet. So this Mishnah is an interesting Mishnah because it can be explained in a number of different ways. I'm going to give you the Rambam and the Bartanura. We're going to do the Bartanura first, and then we're going to do the Rambam. Both of those are very, very vastly different ways of understanding the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah the following: Misha yu perota b'megura. Megura is an otzar from a ma'agar. Agar, megura. It's really a megura. We say megera today is a drawer. But megura here means ma'agar. It means a storehouse. Okay, so there were fruit in the storehouse. V'natan sa'ah leben levi usa'ah la'ani. And he gave, we're just to read the Mishnah first and then we'll see what's going on here. And he gave a sa'ah, one sa'ah to the Levi and one sa'ah to the poor. So the sa'ah to the Levi seems to have been maaser, and the sa'ah to the ani seems to have been maaser ani. So we're talking about a year where there's maaser ani. The Mishnah says, mafrish ad shmone sa'in ve'ochlan divi Rabbi Meir. So then, if the sa'ah is 1/10, so you can designate 8 sa'ah and eat them. So said Rabbi Meir. The Chachamim omrim eno mafrish ela lefi cheshbon. The Chachamim say he can only designate, he can only separate according to the cheshbon, according to the designated amount, calculated amount. What in the world is going on? That depends on how you read and understand the Mishnah. So we're going to go first with the Bartanura and then the Rambam that's brought in the Bartanura. Okay, it's following. It says the following: Matnitin ayre. The Mishnah is talking about the poel chaver habalis od etzer balabait. Okay, so a chaver, remember, is someone who's meticulous about Terumot and Masrot. And he's going to the balabait who's careful, the balabait who's ve'ino ma'amin ol adas Masrot. He's an Am Haaretz in the positive sense, but he's an Am Haaretz and he's careful about Terumot, but not careful about Masrot. And remember, if you don't take off Maaser, there's Truma in there, big problem, Demai, etc., etc. V'ra'ah poel et balabait noten mimigurato sa'al ben levi u'sa'al ani. So let's read the Mishnah again. It's not perotav, and that's why it's a little strange, but the guy came and saw the fruit in the migura. And he saw the balabait giving a sa'at to ben levi and a sa'at to anani. Okay? Then Rabbi Meir says, the oto poel yachol le'echol min ha-migura shmone sa'im. He can eat up to 8 sa'ah from that migura. Why? Dimistama b'torat ma'aser rishon natan levi. Because you can assume that he gave the Levi his ma'aser rishon, and the ma'aser ani gave to the ani. Therefore, yesh kan shmone sa'im mitukanim u'ma'at yoter, and there's a little bit more than 8 se'ah that's mitukan. And even though he didn't, the Bartanura explains, even though he didn't see him designate Truma Gdola, they weren't suspect that they didn't take off Truma. Even Am Haaretz took off Truma because the consequences in the Torah are very severe. So Chachamim said, no, he didn't do that. He said, the Am Haaretz balabai knew that the worker wanted to eat. Therefore, he gave Truma to the Levi and he gave Maaser Sheni to the Maaser Ani to the Ani. But he said he only gave them as the amount for the meal itself. The Hashar and the rest that he gave, even though he gave a whole Sa'ah, he didn't give the whole Sa'ah to the Levi as Maaser. Hashar matana ba'alma hudiyah leLevi ulani. It's just a present. He just gave them as a gift. He didn't give them as Ma'asot, as Maaser Sheni, Maaser Rishon, and Maaser Ani, because he doesn't believe in them. He's not careful about them. He just gave them the whole Sa'ah. Hilkach ena po'el yachol le'echol etzlo. He can't eat ad sheyichlu shmone sa'im kidivrei Rabbi Meir. He can't eat the whole 8 Sa'ah. Ela otas seudah shayalu le'echol etzlo betulo. He can only eat up to seudah lefi cheshbon. Chachamim said, this is what they're saying. Eno mafrish ela lefi cheshbon. He only designates Maasrot for the chaver that's going to eat for the amount for the seudah. He gives them a whole Sa'ah, he gives them the seudah, but he gives them a Sa'ah. But he didn't give it to them in the Torah in the context of Maasrot. He only gave it in the context of a gift. So the only thing, the chaver can't eat the whole 8 Sa'ah. He can only eat the meal that he was intended to get. That's the Bartanura's explanation. But it brings another explanation. Perush acher. V'natan sa'al levi v'nasal ani bal chulem. So he saw the guy, again, similar case, but he saw the guy give the Levi and give the ani. And when he comes to take the 8, okay, so when you have to take off your truma, you have to take off, the table, you want to designate, okay, this is chulin. According to the Rambam says you have to know that the ma'aser and the ma'aser sheni are still mitukan. They still existed, they're still in the world, he didn't eat them yet. Rabbi Meir omer mafish shmona se'im be'ochlam al smach otam shnei sim shenatan bechezkat she'em kayamim. Rabbi Meir says that you can designate those 8 sa'ah and eat them, assuming that the ma'asor were taken up properly, and assuming that there's a chazaka that they still exist. You can only designate according to that which you know is existent. If all two you know are existent, now you can have the 8 plus. If half of them are gone, you can only take out 4. According to the calculation of what's still existent they didn't eat, that's as much as you can designate and not more. What's fascinating about the Rambam is the Rambam says that once you took off, even though you already took off Terumot and Maasrot, in order to designate what's left as Chulin, that those Maasrot still have to be existent. They still have to be existing in the world. You have to be Kayamot. I don't really understand why the Rambam says this. I think if you have an explanation, I'd be happy to hear it. And you can feel free to share with me at ourspotter@gmail.com as we dedicate the learning of this Mishnah to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Wishing you a great day.